Yami Gautam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you so much.
Congratulations for a new beginning as you tied the knot with Aditya Dhar in June earlier this year. You know, both
Thank
you and
you.
Aditya are just very sensitive and calm human beings. This is really a Rab ne bana di jodi. What change you think has come in you apart from this glow?
I think I'm just feeling happier and happier. That's touch wood. I'm sitting on a wooden table, so touch wood. I think I don't know. I haven't thought about it so seriously. We're just happy that when the two people, who get married, who think alike in their ethics, in their perspectives, in as many ways as possible, at least the core values are the same. There is nothing more beautiful feeling about it. And we both value our ethics a lot, our family a lot. We are very like-minded in a lot of aspects. And I love that. And I really enjoy that. And just feeling, I think this is it. This is what it is. I think there is no one can set any example for you, or there's nothing called, honestly, there are terms which are used, like power couple and couple goals and all of that. No one can set that for you but your own self, So I think just go by your own gut. The whole don't try and overthink too much. Don't try and complicate things unnecessarily. Just enjoy what you have. Enjoy this time, and which is what we do.
You also had Bhoot Police this year, which dropped on Disney Plus Hotstar. You were very, very, very good in the movie. At times, it felt like Yami Gautam is the only one who's doing serious acting in the movie. How do you look back at Bhoot Police now?
Okay. That's a very unique compliment. Thank you. I will just talk about the former part of your question. It feels good, Vishal. It feels good. I think this genre is not really explored much, but I think if done right, it can be really entertaining. It can be really fun, family entertainer, which was the whole idea. And when it came to me, I took it because I said, okay, I love horror films. This is not an out and out horror film, but here is an opportunity for me to do something which a part of it which I enjoy watching, and I was like, Pawan, we have to get the look right. It cannot look funny, it cannot look incorrect or a shoddy job done. So we made sure that, and it was not easy because we were still in the middle of just right after the first wave, and the fear was still very much there of the pandemic and COVID and so many things playing on your mind. This is a skill which requires a lot of test, a lot of work, and but we managed it somehow. And I'm glad that people saw that hard work, that me standing out in Himachal in chilled winters, bare feet, it paid off to a certain level. Of course, a film comes with its own positive and negative and good parts, and the parts where it could have been better, and I accept that. I always accept it for all my films, and you should be, I feel, to progress in life. So yeah, it's fine, and thank you once again.
The thing about good actor is that irrespective of the fate of the movie, they shine with their performance. When you read a script, do you mark pages or scenes and tell yourself, okay, let me show the world my range of acting?
No, when you read a script, you don't think about the world. You have to isolate yourself from that. You have to isolate yourself from a lot of factors, which we are asked, of course, often about later, about, box office success or what people think of you, audience think of you. You have to think absolutely for the character as an actor, and really get into the depth and the detail.
No, what I meant was when you read a script, do you mark pages and say, this is the place where I can show my talent? I can, if it's here with my performance, I'll make it like a notch higher.
Yes, you always know that. You can always recognize those scenes where, this is that scene where the sur of the character, or it requires something absolutely something else out of you, which cannot be there in every scene, unless that's the way it's written like that. But you can identify those scenes. That scene, that arc. This is the graph where it's going. This is the peak of the graph, and now it's so you need to understand those and identify those points really well, and you do. I do that. I can do that
with each script, or it doesn't come very frequently?
See, this awareness also doesn't happen. You don't learn it overnight. I learned it with time. I learned it with experience. I learned it when good scripts started coming my way. Uri, for example, I had it with Kabil also, by the way. But just if talking about recent past, then Uri was that script for me. Bala was that script for me, where you recognize that, okay, this is that scene where you feel that wholesome arc of the character, or where there's another side to the character which now needs to come out. Or even in Uri, where that switch from that nurse to an agent, how effortless and smooth you are in shifting gears, that's you, and shifting the mood. So I do identify that, and I think it's interesting to do that in market, and you should know at the back of your mind.
Is mobile phone is the biggest enemy or the biggest distraction for an actor on a set?
It is, and I really try to use it as bare minimum as possible. Never for especially at least those scenes where I know that I'm not going to touch my phone today, or not before my lunchtime, and I don't do that then. Especially social media. That regardless of anything, unless there's something which is professional and you need to put up, and there's something which I need to be a part of it. That's very different. But that's one thing which I've made it like it's unfortunate. It's very strange that we're even talking about this, but that's true. Now that's a habit that we've got to inculcate, how to undo this habit and really, really focus. And that's the best feeling. I think set is the best place. That is one of the reasons why when Aditya and I got married, a lot of people were shocked, which is what I've been told by my team members, that, we were getting calls left, right, center, that, did you know that she was, Aditya and Yami were together? She's like, forget the fact Aditya and Yami. The fact that Yami's seeing someone, I wasn't sure at all, because I've never seen her on phone on set. So I said, okay, that's one thing which now.
Oh, nice. It's secretive. But do you remember any scene particularly where during shooting those scenes you said, I don't want to go near my phone, I want to be in that world? Do you think was Bala?
Yeah, especially, now I can think of was Bala, and right from the first scene. Because the first scene was that scene where I discover
he come to know that.
Yes, and that was the first shot.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous, to be honest. And I had all the questions that, Amar, why do you want to start the film with this? Usually you do a little simpler scenes, and then you get it a little comfortable, and then you get started with, then you start getting, the character, and then you start on the journey, but I'm like, you starting directly from like another level. So don't worry, I've seen you're fully prepared, you'll do it. So I remember, I think I didn't touch my phone at all. I was just in that moment. I knew roughly to what level this character can go, or should go rather. Roughly I had it in my mind. Me and Amar, we knew. We spoke only that much, jitna idea bhi hai, but over rehearsed bhi nahi hai. Kuch nahi tha. I just came. I was told the technicality, yahan se aana hai, and this is where he is. This is the courtyard. Now sitting down and all of that, the camera, even technically, even the DOP, Anuj, even he had to be prepared that anything can happen, because suddenly I just sit niche. And if you notice, the camera has taken a little time to come down, because Anuj also didn't know I'm going to come down like that, but he followed. So that's a language which the team needs to be really comfortable with each other. And that's only possible when everybody's 100% invested, in that scene. God forbid if you have, of course, an emergency or something that you need to be, that's separate. But Otherwise, I think I remember on the phone was absolutely, I don't even know where it was on that day.
The other film which I'm really excited to see you in is the film called Earth Thursday, in which you play a teacher who takes 16 children as hostages. Do you think audience will love you or hate you for playing that role?
I think let's leave it to the audience for that. But what it's trying to say on the bigger front, I think the audience should connect with that. And that journey of that character you'll only know once you watch the film. And it's what it's trying to say. I'm confident, Vishal, that that's something which each one of us will relate to what we are trying to say. So yeah, the route is different. The route is, that's her journey, that it is, let's see if it's something, how the audience feels about it. But we are quite positive because we've made it with as much as equal passion as this a film like this deserves. Every film deserves, but it needs that passion and that sensitivity and that intent to make a difference somewhere. And let's see if it's gotten channelized and it reaches people.
Inspiring young girls to prioritize self-love is the message that you shared on your social media earlier this year. You first posted your unedited and non-airbrush pictures, and it inspired many across the nation. What made you do this?
We shall be living in this age where everybody is exposed to everything, and it has its own pros and cons, but more so I think right now it's on a little critical side, because there are young girls who are getting into some crazy diets or crazy things or certain expectations when it comes to especially physicality. And my industry comes with that aspirational aspect to it, whether you like it or not. So we do realize that how we are otherwise, apart from what you see us on screen, which is my job. But this personal conduct of ours in some way does affect the young minds. But why I wanted to do also, because even I've had my own journey. Even I'm someone who's still learning, and there's so many things which when I think back maybe 5 years back or 10 years back, I think very differently now in a lot of aspects. For me also to be able to accept it and let it be and feel free about it. Even I've come, even I've had that journey, and I've actually, this used to be a serious concern as a teenager, and when you're working in this industry, that it needs to be airbrushed, it needs to be hidden because it doesn't look nice, it doesn't look, but it is what it is. I can't help it, it has no cure. So what's the best way? The best way is to just let it be like that and just be happy, right? And that's all right. But the interesting thing is, when I came across all the comments down there, it was not just from young girls, it was from every age, even guys. And I read almost every comment, and they were so happy that we're so glad that you share it, because there comes a certain expectation from our respective partner that actresses or models look in a certain way, why can't we? So here's someone, and I'm sure there are a lot of people, public figures, doing similar things in the West as well, where you're coming out the way you are. What you've seen on screen, that's my job, that's what I'm here to do. That's the reason why you and I are talking right now. But when I have the freedom to breathe as myself, I would do that. And that was the idea. And I'm so glad that people connected with it, and it made a difference somewhere, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, in today's world, we are talking about gender equality and feminism. How do you choose films that you work on, or filmmakers? Do you express your reservation sometimes to dialogues which you feel are derogatory in nature?
Yes, I do. And this confidence, see, interestingly, I made a debut with a film which spoke so strongly about Yeah, you can call it feminism or the female characters, not just mine. What all the female characters had such a strong standing. When I say strong, I don't mean like ऐसे करके खड़े हैं, but they have a standing of their own. They have something so substantial to do, and but yeah, I realized it, but it took time, Vishal. It takes time. It takes time for people also to take you seriously. And there have been times in the past where I've been part of films and I have questioned that why is the scene like that? Why? Why? There are a lot of whys, but no one answered them. And what I heard was, you can be replaced in a film. You can get replaced. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with it. But again, there's a thing that if you get replaced, you'll get a bad name for yourself in the industry. Do you want to do that? Or that I don't want to do at that point of time. And I'm like, but it used to always bother me that why and when can I speak for myself or what I believe in. And feminism is not, it's also again a very misconstrued word. It's not about bashing the other gender. It's not all about that, but it's just being progressive and equality and respect. That's it, nothing else. And it takes time. It takes time. And now in 2021, we've reached a point where this conversation has not just begun, but it's begun to get acknowledged. The awareness has come in now. It takes time. It takes time, and so be it. But now it shouldn't stop. Now, even in terms of roles, I was discussing with another director of mine on set the other day that why aren't more such roles written? For example, when Bala came or Pari, when people were talking about, you've done amazing comedy, we didn't think like that and all those things. But I said, where are those roles? I need to get those. We need those roles also to support what we are trying to say, which doesn't mean that I should open my line by saying, by promoting a film, I play a strong girl in a film. No, it's not about that. It's about that girl the female having a certain standing in the film and in our workplace, having dignity of work. I don't believe that only a certain kind of films or actresses doing only a certain kind of roles should be shown respect. If you're an actress and if you're doing an out and out commercial film, that also requires work. That also requires a lot of hard work. Or if you're there in the film, you're there for a reason. Otherwise, you won't be casted. So you need to be given that dignity, for your work. That needs to be acknowledged by everybody. And I think I only hope that it's only going to be progressive and we come up with more roles, we come up with more interesting roles where there's thought given to, how we see females, actresses or actors or characters in films.
And finally, out of the many memorable roles you have done in this over 10-year-long career, if I count your Tamil and Telugu film, then do you think Ashima from Vicky Donor, Supriya from Kabil, Pallavi from Uri, or Pari from Bala, which character is the one that you relate most to personally?
None, as if I see these characters as who they were, but a little part of each one of them. I think a little bit of Ashima, a little bit of like how assertive she was, a little bit of Supriya, that how sensitive she was. And for her, maybe of course, if we go on decoding the character, there would be so much, but let me just pick up just her sensitivity and how emotional she was. A little bit of Pallavi, that how responsible she felt towards the job, that she was doing. Very little of Pari. There was so much about Pari that I was like, how will I make this character? I don't even know.
Pallavi.
And I think the honesty that Pari had of who she was, unapologetic. So like how she says that this is who I am. I think that takes a lot of guts to, without the fear of being judged or people calling you shallow or whatever they want to call. You're just putting yourself out there. I'm just talking only about that aspect, not the decision or not what happened in the film, not the plot, but just the idea level. That's it.
Yami Gautam, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you, Vishal. It was really nice talking. Thank you.
Thank you.